to Rev Shots, your weekly dose of quick hit wisdom, where we tackle the most pressing topics of the day for ourselves and our revenue teams. Our show features expert guests with decades of experience. We delve into what works and why, sharing tools to be unapologetically successful, from making our number to delighting our clients. If you're ready to boost your knowledge in under 30 minutes on a weekly basis, tune in. Follow me on LinkedIn or join our mailing list to stay updated on our latest features. Good morning, everybody, and happy Friday. Believe it or not, we are literally halfway through March. Tomorrow will be the 15th. It's bananas at the end of the day. So we are on episode number 58 of Rev Shots. In our second year of doing this show, I'm Dion Major, your host and founder of Revenue by Design. I'm really excited to have Michael with us today. Our paths crossed through a mutual acquaintance, and Michael and I have spoken a few times. And again, you all know, for those of you that tune in and listen regularly, the purpose of our show, Rev Shots, is to give everybody those quick hits of wisdom. We certainly cannot figure everything out on our own, and it's always, always, always better to work together. This show brings you people that have been tried and true. We're bringing you tactical, practical strategies, simply not theory. So it's kind of like eavesdropping in on conversations that you need to around the world. So thank you, Michael, for joining us today and being part of our tribe, being part of our group, and sharing your knowledge.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure. This is awesome. I'm really psyched to talk to your audience.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. Tell us a little bit about you and your background and a little bit about your organization.
Yeah, so I am the founder and CEO of SaaS Talent, and we work with startups, SaaS companies, tech companies, and they help them with talent and growth, right? So we had our 10-year anniversary in December of last year. So really, really exciting. We're really growing rapidly right now. It's actually a really, really exciting time. Nice. And so my background before I started my company was business development, sales. You know, I really, really love lead generation and, you know, and go to market and things like that. So yeah, my company really is broken down into 3 core areas where we help our clients. So go to market talent. So I started talking about go to market talent about a year ago, and it transformed my business. So go to market talent, and then engineering product development talent, and then AI talent is the third area that everybody wants to talk about. We're trying to bring you talent that moves the needle, right? So this isn't only full-time. So we do full-time really, really well, but it's part-time, it's fractional, and then it's resources in Latin America. So your audience probably has heard about Latin America, heard about India, heard about the Philippines. We help people get go-to-market talent in Latin America and the United States.
Interesting. Okay, so we're going to definitely touch on a lot of that, Michael. Congratulations for 10 years. That is certainly a milestone, and congratulations with that. Awesome. And so, yeah, all of our guests that come on, I always ask the same question. And that question is, right now, minus political and religious and all, like the things that we aren't going to touch on this show, right? And so we want to keep that talking about what is the one topic and theme you're hearing right now when you're talking with your clients and prospective clients. What is it you're hearing? What's top of mind for everybody?
Yeah, so what I'm seeing big time, and this is a great question, I'm seeing people that are working behind their desk, they're working remotely, and they want to start getting out and working with people, right? Going to events. I see everything starting to open up, right?
Yeah.
So people don't want to be by themselves. You know, so I'm in my home office right now. I have an office in Philadelphia as well. Even in my office in Philadelphia, you feel alone, right? Yeah. So if you're a founder or you're a CEO or you're an executive watching this right now, you feel alone. Right. You're with your significant other, maybe you meet your friends, but a lot of times you feel alone. So I see people getting out there at events. So events are picking back up, which is awesome for the economy. And then I just see founders and people, CEOs and executives wanting to get with people in their community, right?
Yeah.
So who's your community, right? And that's a great topic to talk about if you want to talk about it, is thinking about who your community is. Who are the people? Who are your peeps, right? That you
Yeah.
need to be meeting with.
Yeah, that's really interesting, Michael, that's kind of the topic you're hearing about. And so how the follow-on question to that is, I agree with you. I think it's definitely opening up. We're wanting this collective, okay, it's almost like this realization that, okay, this is our new normal. I think the sense I get from a lot of folks is the emotional impact of COVID was never addressed. And some people just went, oh, you're still talking about COVID.
Right.
But I'm like, you know what? Like, there's this component and carry on 5 years later that hasn't been addressed. And in one of the sessions, so I do a couple different workshops, and one of the workshops I offer is the art of conversation. And in there, we talk about, there's a 3-step, the AAA approach in a conversation that says acknowledge, address, and advance. And I think from a widespread, and maybe it's me and I'm missing it, of somebody in leadership has never come out and said, I'm really sorry for the emotional whiplash and impact that all of COVID caused.
Yeah.
That the full stop and then start again, and the herky-jerky nature that we're still experiencing wherever it came from isn't being addressed. And I think sometimes that causes confusion, right? And then to your point, we as humans are fighting for normalcy. And so it's almost like this subconscious, I know I need to connect with people. Events are coming back again, boom, boom, boom. But we're not articulating some of those thoughts and feelings. So I'm curious where, so I say all that to say the follow-on question is, what are people doing successfully to address this need for connection? And how are they tying it to their business overall? How are you seeing people, how are those conversations shaping up? And how are you seeing people address that successfully?
Yeah, so I could explain how I'm addressing it successfully.
Yeah, please.
So the one thing that I would say to everybody listening is you got to find your community of interest, right? So I just joined the Founders Club.
Nice.
It's so there's this group called the Founders Club. It is one of the fastest growing clubs in the country right now. So in 6 months, they've about 300 founders in this. And so it's not only community, it's many of you listening might have heard of a mastermind community.
Yep.
Right. So an advisory board. So when you're part of a mastermind community that meets regularly, monthly, okay, so what do you get? You get your meeting with people. You get meeting with your people that are like you, like-minded like you. And then you're getting structure and discipline. Because in these masterminds, you're accountable. You're held accountable. Yeah. So that's the way I'm solving it. I'm also building people around me. So if you're a small business listening to this right now, you got to build your team. And a lot of times it's advisors. It's people that you don't necessarily even have to pay. These are people that could be part of your advisory board. So I built an advisory board. I always had that. But I was missing that aspect of community and a mastermind where I was meeting with people like me, like-minded people. And it's just doing this is solving so many things for people because you're getting together, right? You have the people aspect. And then a lot of times we're focused on business. Like a lot of us are focused on business and growth. But this is personal growth and business growth, a lot of these things. So that's how I'm doing it. And I see a lot of other of my peers doing this. Yeah. And it's really working.
Yeah. Michael, that's a really, really interesting breakdown of everything too. So what led you to finding the Founders Club? Like, where do you start to go search for these things? How do you identify even what you need? I mean, I think that's even before they start searching. It's like, something isn't right. Like, how do you identify the need?
Right. So big thing that you have to focus on first. And one of my clients actually helped me really realize this about a year and a half ago is, who is your ICP?
Mm-hmm.
So ICP stands for ideal client or customer profile,
Mm-hmm.
right? Who is your customer? Right. So really understand who your customer is. You can get Chat GPT to help you with this very, very easily to
Yep.
figure out who this is. So first you got to say, who really is my customer? I meet with so many people, and I'm sure you do too, that, oh, a lot of people are my customer. Like a lot of industries are my
No.
customer. And if you're finding that you're not growing,
Yeah.
you probably don't know who your customer is. You're not Amazon.
Right.
Right. You can't sell to everyone. Right.
Yeah. Well, and
Maybe,
Amazon didn't start for everyone either. So go ahead.
right. Maybe two, maybe one or two, maybe tops 3 industries you focus on. So you find out who is your ICP really. Then what I started researching was CEO peer groups, peer leadership groups, mastermind communities in my industry or close to my industry. Right. So I started looking at it local to my area. I started researching it. And again, anybody listening to this right now, if you want to reach out to me, I'll show you how I did it. Right. I'll show you exactly how I did it, because it really is helping me a lot.
Good.
And so you start doing that. And then there's all the big ones like Vistage.
Yeah.
There's all the big ones, and a big one might be okay. A big one might be totally okay for you. But these groups are broken down into large groups, and then they're broken down into more niche groups. And then I also found another thing to mention you about your question is personal development.
Yeah.
Right. So there are a lot of personal development and growth coaches like you, and like organizations that are really, really out there to help people. So you can find those. And then with those, there's the Grant Cardones of the world.
Yeah.
There's the Anthony Robbinses of the world that are more bigger. Then there's more niche ones.
Yeah, very good, Michael. And so you were talking about it's been really helpful for you to kind of get out, meet people, have community. What have been some of the benefits you've seen?
Yeah. So the biggest benefits are, we're all people. We are all social creatures. Like humans are social creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it serves the need of maybe when my parents were like, again, I'm 50. I don't know how old you are, but my parents would have these dinner parties all the time.
Yeah.
Right. We'd have a dinner party. There'd be dinner parties on Fridays, dinner parties on Saturday. They'd be going to potlucks in the neighborhood. These things don't exist anymore, people. Right. They don't exist. We're not doing them since COVID.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the biggest benefit is just connecting with people, not really necessarily worrying about business all the time, just connecting, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big part. And then friendships, right?
Yeah.
So friendships and relationships that you build from those are hugely important. But then the added cherry on top is, if you're meeting with your people in your ICP and those, you're getting business relationships. You're having opportunities, you get referrals, those types of things. So let me give everybody, because I really know how to do this, because I love creating community. So you could look at meetups, right? There are tons of meetups out there that do this too, like your local meetups. And then there's tons of organizations in your local community.
Yeah, I think that's really, really sound, Michael, with that. And we started at Revenue by Design, our executive groups last year for this very reason. And we actually had an event yesterday, our virtual summit for, it was called H2H, Human Connections Done Right, all about harmonizing people, process, and tech. Because even with AI coming and technology and all that good stuff, the human element is sometimes eked out of all of that. And we forget, to your point, because we're not in person, and it's easy to be behind a keyboard or on a screen, and like we're missing out on the rest of our senses. I've got 2 right now, hearing and seeing. And sometimes people don't have that.
Right.
And so we're missing this plethora of sensory information that we get when we meet in person.
Right.
And so our virtual summit yesterday it's actually we're transitioning it to your point of more of a leadership retreat. And what we're doing at Revenue by Design is really having retreats designed for go-to-market leadership across the organization. That because to what you're saying, what we're seeing out there is there's all these specialty meetups, which is fantastic because I need someone like me if I'm in sales, if I'm in marketing, if I'm a senior leader and all that good stuff. But to your point, we're all so disconnected that the miss is how do I get my leadership across my business units to align and see each other and get to know each other?
Yeah.
Where I'm not in a kickoff environment that's big and loud and maybe not done. We're missing a piece that helps us to go deeper. And so I love what you're talking about here is and definitely seeing the rise of community and in person. And then it's this level of how am I taking this and creating community within my organization that people are decentralized.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you,
right?
let me
I've
tell
got
you,
perspectives and all that jazz. Go ahead.
well, let me tell you tactically and strategically what I'm doing for the audience too. So they, and anybody could reach out to me on this as well. Because I started doing this. So really exciting. So I joined Regis, right? So basically Regis offices. So everybody in the country, there are, Regis has offices all throughout the Northeast, right? So Regis offices. And so when I'm meeting with people and I'm talking to them, say over a 30-minute Zoom or a meet at first, I created and I just actually, I'm working on the messaging, but I'm a talent and growth workshop, right? So if I'm talking to someone that I want to do this with, I'm saying, hey, I belong to Regis. There's a Regis a couple miles down the road from you. Let's meet there. I have a talent and growth workshop that I do for clients and I do for people I'm meeting with. Let me describe to you what it is, because everybody can do something like this, I think, in their business as well. If you want to reach out to me and have one of these, just reach out to me. So we sit down and we first understand, what are your business goals? Where are you challenged? Right? And what are the things that are keeping you up at night? Yeah. And then, so that's the first, just what are those issues and challenges that are hindering you from growth? Yeah. Then we talk about those challenges and we bring them in the perspective of your people and talent, right? Mm-hmm. So you have existing people on your team, right? Those people might need coaching from like someone like yourself, right? Or they might not be working out. You might have other talent requirements around your people in order to grow, right? Mm-hmm. So we talk about those requirements, and then from that, I then build a solution for them. Mm-hmm. But again, this is all just, we go out there. I'm thinking about actually charging for it in the future, but we just rolled it out, right? Somebody was like, you should charge for that. I'm like, well, let's start first by getting a few people in the door. And then I actually build them a solution, a talent and growth solution, and deliver it to them. And that's how I'm connecting with people. I'm meeting with them face to face. A lot of people aren't doing that. And I'm making it work within my model, right? Where, everybody's doing everything over Zoom and Meet. What I would love to stress to everybody listening right now is try to go meet with your customers, your best prospects, and create some structure around a pre-sales approach to helping them.
Yeah. I think that's amazing. So you're talking about massive amount of value specifically designed for people, that person you're talking with.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that. And I think it's a doable idea. And I think there's the healthy tension between the mass market spray and pray model that has become so prevalent over the last 2 decades. Mm-hmm. Of somebody listening might be going, that's not scalable. And I would challenge that. Very much so. But I love what you're doing because I agree with you. I think there's this need for connection. There's a need for the one-on-one because that's where true understanding happens. There's still a place for our one-to-many communication, but I think true relationships happen one-on-one. So I really like what you're talking about. How are you seeing folks maybe take that approach and implement that into their one-to-many? How do folks successfully have a one-to-many and a one-to-one approach to growing connection, growing community, and growing business?
Yeah, so I'm doing this as well, and I'm in the process of doing it. It's being able to get people into a room. So this, again, this talent and growth workshop. Could I do it one-on-one? Yes, I'm doing it one-on-one.
Right.
Could I do it where people are coming in and there's 5 people there, 10 people there, 20 people there, right? We're getting people to meet. We're getting people to express where their challenges are, where their business problems are, where their issues are. And so you could absolutely, my strategy long-term is to build this more into something that people come to. And again, like I see people charging for these things as a general rule. So I just got pitched the other day by Harrington. If everybody knows Harrington from Shark Tank, I got pitched by them on basically this growth retreat, right? What is this growth retreat? It's one day where you're all meeting together, like-minded, everything. And this growth retreat cost $3,000. I was like, well, that's not exactly but again, that's what these brands are doing, right? So free isn't going to work, right? So you're going to have to give value to someone. And if they really want to contribute and be part of it, you got to think about charging for this value that you're giving them in your niche, right? So people listen to this. Everybody has a niche. Everybody can talk about your goals, your business challenges, your problems, your issues, everything, and then can talk about what you do to solve those things and your solutions. Everybody could do a workshop like that. They could do one-on-one or they could do one-to-many.
Right.
And it's just a matter of thinking about how to do it.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I'm taking all these notes, hence my looking down and stuff. So I think, Michael, I think that's a really great idea for folks to figure out how to operationalize some of these things. And I agree with you. I'm seeing it everywhere. A lot of companies are doing road shows now. A lot of that is making a comeback. And that's something we used to do back in the day, all of 5 years ago, right? 6 years ago. So I couldn't agree with you more at the end of the day. I think too, one of the things we talk about with folks is the roles and teams that are in place today and needed expertise and knowledge literally didn't exist 5 years ago. We're talking about agentic AI and things of that nature, and not even search engine optimization, but answer engine optimization that we talked about yesterday. And so things that we didn't even have to think about or know about, and we had more runway to learn about. We have this much time now to get that done. So I think this is so critically important, this continual learning motion that we all need to have. So thank you. I think this has been really valuable for everybody. Where can everybody get in touch with you?
Yes. So my company is SaaS Talent, and that's SaaS-talent.com, right? So everybody can go there. You could set up a free strategy session with me. The other thing is I have over 27,000 first connections on LinkedIn. So I'm super connected on LinkedIn. So you could easily find me if you just type in Michael C. Bertoni, my name. You'll be able to find me on LinkedIn. Connect with me. If you connect with me and basically say, you saw me on this show, right? You saw me on this show. Let's get together. Let's talk. Let's see how we can help each other.
I think that sounds great. Thank you, everybody. Please make sure you are reaching out to Michael. Please make sure you are continuing to follow us on Rev Shots. We won't be doing episode number 59 next week. I will be in Las Vegas with my daughter, who's competing in an aerial silks competition in Vegas. Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, but we will be back the week after that and look forward to that. Make sure you're continuing to follow us on LinkedIn as well as our YouTube channel. And again, thank you for joining us for Rev Shots. Michael, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate this. And it's been a great show. Thanks.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks, everybody. Make it a good one.